I am Henry Ogunjimi, a reporter and producer with Channels Television. For 9 years, I have reported on issues ranging from politics, brands and marketing, elections, labor struggles, and education, but never on trafficking of humans. The third Global Slavery Index ranks Nigeria 8th in the world, with close to 900,000 of our youthful population trapped in debt bondage, and many of them sold for sex in parts of Europe. Sometime in the year 2015, I met a 26-year-old lady from Benin City. Tonia was deported from Italy, where she had worked as a sex slave from age 17. Tonia's story leads me on a journey to Europe, from her hometown in Benin City, through the routes in the Sahara Desert. This is my discovery. I begin my journey in Benin City, the capital of Edo State in south-south Nigeria. The city lies some 320 kilometers by road east of Lagos. And the population here is put at less than 2 million people. Following Nigeria's independence from British rule in 1960, Benin City became the capital of Mid-Western region when the region was split from Western region in June 1963. It remained the capital of the region when the region was renamed Bendel State in 1976. It then became the capital of Edo when Bendel was split into Delta and Edo states in 1991. Once revered as the center of Nigeria's rubber industry and the processing of palm nuts for oil, Benin City has a great and rich culture with an appreciable influence on that of West Africa. Popular also for the Benin bronzes, portrait figures, busts and groups created in iron, carved ivory and brass works, a trademark of the rich culture and tradition of the people of Benin City. The city is famous for its walls, a combination of ramparts and moats that measured between 20 and 40 feet and used as a defense of the defunct Kingdom of Benin, which is present-day Benin City. Today, a bustling commercial center has evolved in the city, and many go about their lawful businesses during the day. When night falls, the ugly side of Benin City is exposed. Young women line major street corners as commercial sex workers. Not to ruffle any feathers, I choose to film from inside the car. Every young woman here is a potential prostitute in Europe. For many of them, in Benin City begins their adventure to the west. In Benin City, they are recruited by the traffickers. Meet Tonia, a 26-year-old returnee. Before coming down to Benin City, Tonia had told me how she was lured to Italy when she was just 17 years old. It's now over 5 years since Tonia was deported, but her memories of Italy has continued to haunt her.
So what is she trying to say? I was like...
She narrates a ordeal in the presence of Sister Bibiana, an anti-trafficking activist.
She said that the next day that I'll be going with them to the streets to work. If I know I don't want to stay here, she's not going to waste her money that she used in bringing me back home, that she's going to do me something. For 3 days, I did not eat. She refused to give me food since I said I don't want to do the work. She collected my phone because I wanted to call my parents to tell them, look at what I'm going through. Whenever she's going out, she locked me in the house, hold the key, the food, wherever her food is, the food she cooked, she made sure she locked up the door. It's just the room that I live, that is where I will have access to. So the other following week, I have to follow them to work. I said, okay, since this is the life here, let me still join. That was how I started doing the same job with them.
Tonia tells me that it is the lack of prospects for many young girls in Benin City that makes them easy prey for traffickers. She believes this will not change as long as traffickers continue to go unpunished.
I left because of in order for me to be able to help my family, and I came back empty-handed. So because of that, I'm ashamed to go back to the family, to even go to my parents.
Where you live to? First, straight down, come up for Sapling Road. For Express.
I tried to know why Nigeria's anti-trafficking authority has not been too successful in checking the activities of traffickers, but I encounter a number of bureaucratic bottlenecks. The coordinator in Edo State insists she requires clearance from the headquarters in the nation's capital, Abuja, before she speaks to me on camera.
So as you go, once you hear somebody promising you heaven and earth on earth, please, if you don't know how to run, go and learn how to run. You will run what? 990.
Sister Bibiana has been very vocal on issues of trafficking. She now tells young girls about the dangers.
They will take them to another building. And that is how these girls were destroyed. Unfortunately, one of them became pregnant. When they tried what they could to abort the child, they could not. And then they threw the child. The Good Samaritan brought them to their shelter in Lagos. So my sisters, to be warned earlier is better, so that you will be, a kind of strengthen yourself, get ready. When they come in any way, we tell them they can go to places, they can go to hell.
She also leads an anti-trafficking activist group, Committee for the Support of Dignity of Women, COSUDO.
There are some even worse than this, those that go through the desert. They go through a lot of hell. So when they come back, first and foremost, we welcome them. Make this place a home for them. And then begin to counsel them. When you counsel them, maybe after a month or two, and then you know that they have regained themselves, then you begin to ask them, what do you think you can do? You can't be idle all the day. Then they will tell you, if the trade they don't have, you arrange for them to go and learn it. And when they learn it, those of them that are brought back by agency, like if it's in Italy, most of the time it's slave no more, that they help these our girls, gives little money to reintegrate them back into the society, get a shade for them, shop where they were going to sell, house where they will live, and then the articles, we usually go together and buy it with the girl, then settle the girl and monitor the girl for at least 1 year, and then you leave the girl.
But it's in my dreams, seeing so many things. I felt sick. I could not.
Tonia has lost faith in the state institution. After 5 years as a sex slave, she was eventually deported by Italian authorities.
So one day I was at home. They came into where I was staying with my friend. I left his place after a year plus. I was now on my own. As I was in the house, they did party in my house. Because if you don't have document, there is no way you can get a place. So some people that have document, they rented apartment like 3 bedroom. I have to beg them. I carry 1 room. Every month I pay them €3 for the house rent. So the person that owns the house, that carried the house, they were doing party in the house. They didn't tell me. I was inside the room. After doing the party, they started fighting. That was how police busting into our house, and they arrested me and bring me back home to Nigeria.
Today, with the help of the activist group, Tonia now trades in Benin City, where she owns a small shop. There, she shows me the places in Italy that were for her hell. She wants something done against her former tormentors, especially because many other girls are still trapped in their ranks. I stay some more time in Benin City to find anyone involved in this business of trafficking. They usually do not boast openly about their job because of the illegality. After lengthy negotiations, 2 smugglers agreed to a meeting.
I'll tell them the routes they will follow, give them the connection.
This is Favor. 2 years ago, she wanted to travel to Europe, but when her best friend died on the way, she turned back. She now helps to recruit young women who want to go to Europe.
How I help them is that I'll tell them the routes they will follow, give them the connection. That's the way I help them, because they know that I have experience. So, but I don't tell them all my experience, so that they will have the mind to go.
Our colleague, Steve, benefits from his rich network of contacts.
Trust has to be important. We know each other. The day he wanted to.
He knows when to pay bribes.
Because in the business, trust has to be important. We know each other. The day he wanted to travel, it is someone directed that to me. You understand? To help her.
The 2 smugglers refuse to say anything about their sponsors. But they tell me all I need to know about this business, the trafficking of young girls, including the shrine, which serves as an insurance for their nefarious activities. I arranged a visit to a shrine in the outskirts of Benin City. Many of the traffickers bring young women to such places of worship before sending them to Europe. Here, they have to take an oath before their departure that they will repay all debts. I am told that to traffic one girl to Europe, some traffickers charge as much as 30,000 euros. That's about 10 million naira, sometimes even more.
How we do it. If you want to touch, it, it's just like this. We use this to touch your head. We used to touch your head and your chest like this. We put it like this, also like this. Then when the oracle is speaking, I'm reading the cards.
The priest and the priestess would not tell me much on camera, but he speaks of the vengeance of the gods should a oath be broken.
Once he denied, the person will die. If you say he will die under 7 days, he will die by thunder.
Yeah.
After my experience at the shrine, we set out to meet the trafficking agent Steve at Nigeria's border with Niger Republic. I promised to protect his identity before our meeting. Steve says he gets about 200,000 naira per girl for the journey to AGADEZ and stresses the dangers migrants encounter in the Sahara Desert.
You may be robbed, and at times sometimes you may be killed in the desert. You may be robbed there, and you can be for a lady there can be raped. You understand? And beside, along the desert, if the vehicle gets broke down, so many people they usually die on the road because there is no mechanic closer to the point where the car spoils. You understand? To help the situation. At times some passenger die in the bush in the process. That's the risk.
Steve says he has no regret doing his job. He brings the girls safely to their destination, and his job is done. This is AGADEZ. Getting to the ancient city by road from the capital, Niamey, takes approximately 12 hours. That's if you drive through the sandy route of the Niger desert. There is also the option of flying into the city. A local airline flies into AGADEZ 3 times a week. An armed security man in the passenger seat. This is not to attract attention. We have been advised to take proper safety precautions in the desert city. AGADEZ is a base for human traffickers in the middle of the Sahara Desert. My proficiency in Hausa, a Chadic language spoken by millions of people in Niger and Nigeria, makes the locals a lot relaxed. I am looking for young female migrants en route to Europe. So I disguised as a tourist passing through AGADEZ and mingled with the girls.
We are from Nigeria. But inside Nigeria, there is Benin City.
Okay.
I know they put person for my belly. If I put it for belly, we go see for.
Non, je vais amener ça à la police, c'est pas pour moi. J'ai fait ça avec la femme là.
That's what you do for AGADEZ, or you do for Libya, or you do for Europe. If you say you don't have my head.
Finally, two young women agreed to meet with us in the evening, and I promised to protect their identity.
I feel like to go another country.
I am a hairstylist from Nigeria.
Good travel.
I just want to go to another country. From here to Libya and then to Italy. But I will stay some time in Libya to learn the Arab language. I have enough money for this journey. I know about Italy from the movies. It's a beautiful country. And I know God will see me through.
So it's a nice country.
3 mois, 4 mois, elle ramasse l'argent de la voiture et rentre.
I'm Naomi, Juliet's roommate. I grew up in Niger. Many Nigerian girls come through this town. They do not stay long. 3 to 4 months, usually just to try to earn money for their onward journey to Europe. When it's 7 o'clock in the evenings, they come out on the streets to earn some money.
Depuis le premier jour qu'elle rentre ici à AGADEZ, elle m'explique tout son problème. Elle dit qu'elle
Everywhere in AGADEZ, I find references to the activities of traffickers. Much of the economic activities of this town is based on the illegal business. In recent years in the desert city, several banks have opened small shops on most street corners for cash transfers. The governor of AGADEZ downplays the problem. He says the international community has its role to play.
We believe the migrants always travel through the desert, where the conditions are too dangerous. And we know that they want to cross the borders illegally to work as prostitutes. But currently, we lack the means to check their activities.
Le défi que nous avons, en tout cas, c'est faire en sorte que ce qui se passe dans la sous-région vers le Mali ne vienne pas.
The Sultan of AGADEZ agrees that the trafficking business has impacted positively on the economy of the town, but complains about the manner of entry of migrants into the city.
For us, having visitors amongst us brings prosperity to our people because they come here to spend money. But what we frown at is the situation where migrants pass through the desert to Europe without official documents and visas because the dangers in the desert are enormous.
Donc ba bai da kyau mutum ya tashi daga Najeriya ko daga wani ƙasa ya zo babu takarda ko guda ya ce zai sa Europe. Mu dukan mu ba mu goyon bayan wannan.
I am beginning to consider a trip to see the routes in the desert, so I meet a former transporter. I promised to protect his identity, and he tells me more about the journey.
1991. Sun fara wuce lokacin na san su. Wanda na sani yanzu wanda mun yi wannan harkokin su ba su ne suna Turai, wasu suna Canada, wasu suna Switzerland, wasu suna Belgium.
I have been in this business since 1991, and this route through the desert dates back to long before that time. Some people that I helped to cross to Libya are now in Europe, some even in Canada.
Duka yawancin su Italy ne suna zuwa saboda suka zo nan ana biya musu kudin mota zuwa Libya.
All these migrants are Italy bound. When they arrive here in AGADEZ, they pay their way to Libya. From Libya, they cross the Mediterranean into Italy. Most of them are from Nigeria and some from Ghana. I now help them with accommodation while in transit in AGADEZ. I also serve as an interpreter for the girls, especially when they have issues with the law, because none of them speak Hausa or even French, only English and their local dialects. To rent a room in AGADEZ costs between 10 and 25,000 cefas per month. They prostitute to raise the money and save up for their journey through the desert.
Later that afternoon, I see for myself on the outskirts of AGADEZ how little the government cares. Completely overloaded trucks and pickup trucks set out for the journey through the desert. This is the much talked about Monday's convoy. With some supplies for the journey, I joined the convoy. Several rare sights lay on my path, like this herd of camels. Before the advent of trucks, these even-toed ungulates were the only means of journeying through the desert. After about 18 hours of a bumpy ride, we pulled out. We have been warned against going the distance, especially through the bandits' territory. At this stop, each truck driver makes final checks on his vehicle and passengers. About 30 migrants make this journey cramped in one pickup truck. Each one of them clinging desperately to a stick attached to the body of the truck. To prevent them from falling off during the bumpy ride. Many young men in AGADEZ have taken to driving migrants across the Sahara Desert because of the proceeds. I am told that drivers make the cost of their vehicles after just a few successful trips. About 2,000 migrants make this journey through the desert every week. But how many actually arrive the Mediterranean and cross into Europe? Florence, capital and center of Tuscany, a region in central Italy. Called Firenze by the locals, it is one of 7 Tuscan localities designated World Heritage Sites. Florence is visited annually by close to 2 million tourists. Popular in the city are African stores, most of them owned and run by Nigerian women. Many girls are promised jobs in these stores before leaving Nigeria, but they arrive Italy to face the reality. During the day, the beautiful landscape and architecture in Florence catches one's fancy. But at night, this historic Italian city as a different side entirely. Young Nigerian women prostitute themselves on streets across the city, most of them victims of trafficking.
La sardina con l'innamorato, la serbetta abbracciata al soldato.
We comb the streets, accompanied by Lisa Bertini, a local social worker.
She thinks about the fact that the girls are even getting younger from Nigeria.
Lisa shares her experience with some of the girls.
This type of prostitution on the roads began back in the 90s, but the girls were mainly from Albania and Eastern Europe. Since the year 2000, the numbers have changed, and Nigerian girls have become the most important group. Lately, the number of Nigerian girls who work as prostitutes in Greater Florence has risen extremely. They all come through Libya, across the Mediterranean, and they're getting younger. Of course, the girls are afraid of their madams. The madams are Nigerians with official Italian documents. This keeps them from getting into trouble with the police. The girls will not go to the police to report any maltreatment by their madams because they come here with one goal: to secure their future and send money back home to their families. The girls tell us that 8 out of 10 clients ask for sex without condoms, and they usually don't have a choice because they want the money.
Rischio che corre in primis lui e poi ovviamente le ragazze, ma anche la cittadinanza tutta, perché è veramente importante.
I hope that your investigation helps to spread the knowledge about what's going on, because it's important that we talk about trafficking, prostitution and exploitation.
Ma magari non se ne parla come qui, cioè si sa che c'è, però lo mettiamo sotto al tappeto.
In Italy, we try not to talk about these. We pretend there isn't a problem until there is a crisis.
Lo sfruttamento sessuale di queste donne in cima alla lista dell'agenda politica.
In commercial areas outside the city, the full extent is clear. More than 40,000 foreigners illegally work as prostitutes on streets across Italy. Reports say many of them are from Nigeria, all of them working for the so-called madams.
In Nigeria, I can't do prostitution.
Why?
Because they will kill me. My mom will just disown me. If you know, he will not call me again. He said, from today, I'm not your mother anymore. Yeah, you know that I'm in Italy, but I tell him that I'm working in a very big company.
Lo stornello che il cuore fa tremare, ogni balcone di glicini in fior, ovunque regna l'amore.
I want to find out more about the madams, so I meet 2 colleagues from a German television who are in Florence for the same purpose.
When you
But it doesn't make a difference.
From my investigation back in Benin City, I got the contact of a pimp in Italy from a former victim. Going undercover, we called the supposed madame to get the facts. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, madam. She gets suspicious and denies all our claims.
Don't worry, I am. Who is your friend that gave this number? Sorry, sorry, say wrong one, okay. Say they not for the line before, okay. I want children to attend to.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bother you.
Ciao.
Thank you, ma'am.
But that was definitely her.
That was her. She's been careful.
She's very careful, but it's definitely the madam.
Not always inquire for prostitution are connected to trafficking. For how they work.
We then set out to find a former girlfriend of our informant who still lives near Florence.
Trafficking issues.
Yes, I try to explain. I cannot prove that he arranged of trafficking, moving girls, or something like this.
Okay, I see what you mean.
She agrees to give us information about the former madame, but does not want to be filmed.
Yes, he brought both of me and my sister to this place.
So what did she do to you and your two sisters?
He said we should walk on the road. Sometimes when we don't walk, he will beat us. Maybe 3 days he won't give us food. So a lot of things that he's so wicked, very wicked.
And then how does it work? The girls have to work and give her money?
Yes, you have to work and give her money. You can say that, tell them to pay 40,000, 35, maximum 35, 40.
And if they can't pay, what does she do?
She will plan bad things. It will destroy her family and it will make the girl mad, or he can't even get good things of his life.
Finally, she shows us the address of a former madame. Six young women, she says, are still being exploited behind these windows.
La sartina con l'innamorato, la servetta abbracciata al soldato, il BWR con la bionda del cuore si scambia le promesse d'amore.
Behind these windows should live the alleged trafficker from Nigeria. A former victim led us to Iholo, a suburb of Prato, a town outside of Florence.
Actually, yeah, maybe we can put it under your white shirt.
Yeah, it's going to be under the white. I am equipped with a hidden camera and pretend to be in need of accommodation just to gain access into the apartment. Surprisingly, she lets me in. Good morning. How are you? Is Madam around? Okay. One young girl, believed to be a victim, leads me directly to the so-called Madame. Through several rooms of completely darkened apartment, the voices of young women greet me as I look forward to the next lit room. To gain a confidence and buy some time in our apartment, I offer to bring a female relation to Italy and ask for her guidance. I'm thinking of bringing my sister and my younger sister with me. During our conversation, I realized a suspicion and confront her with the allegation of our informant. I have information that you are into trafficking of young girls. And
I don't understand what you are saying.
you don't understand what I'm saying. I have information that you have young girls in your house, and I've seen them. And since you don't want to cooperate, maybe I'll just go with my information to the relevant authorities. Finally, she agrees to an anonymous interview in a nearby park.
Eh? Meru wa. Ya so wa na ya koliwa. Oh. Okay na. Amana call you.
She denies all the allegations, but consistently contradicted herself.
Okay, those girls in your house, who are they?
They don't have it.
They're what? They're renting?
They're rent. Yes.
They're renting their place.
Yes. They're
And
renting.
what is their profession?
Eh?
What do they do for a living? How do they get the money?
I don't know, they go outside to go and look for authority and begging for money.
So you don't know anything about what they do to get the money?
They do surety.
But you do what?
Surety, that is when a porter.
But madam,
is it like prostitution?
No, Jan, wait. When I first came into your house, you told me they were your daughters. That was the first thing you told me. One,
Yeah,
you told me
I
they were
said-
your daughters. Now you're saying they're under rent. You told me you didn't have an accommodation.
Accommodation I don't have.
Yes, but you didn't. You said those girls were your daughters. Now you are saying they're under rent. So what should I believe?
Under rent. As a Nigeria, they can be my daughter. They are under rent.
So this is the only business you're doing, you're renting out your apartment?
How many of them do you have in your house?
There are about 6. They rent the house. When you ask them, they say consent.
Can we go and talk to them?
Yes, you go.
But some of them definitely do prostitution, but for you, you're not involved in it. It's just that they do the prostitution, and when you get your money for the rent, it's not your business.
Yeah.
But you know that some of them have to do it sometimes. Just to-
Yes. Sometimes they can be receiving call. I will be hearing. So that is it. White guy will be calling them. So that is what I know.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
While my colleagues continued to question the alleged trafficker, I returned to the apartment to meet the young Nigerian girls.
Bona, calm down. Hello?
I found 6 of them.
Open door for me. Open door for me. Open door.
I know. It's okay, no problem. But I don't go because of the guys. What's in there, sir?
I beg.
Peg.
Beg.
What's beg?
Shouting and
You dey beg. That's not the information I have about you.
How long have you been to Italy?
Since May.
May. How old are you now?
May. This month I was 21.
Which year are you born in?
1995.
So you came through desert? Oh, by air.
Desert.
AGADEZ.
Yes.
And Libya. You came together?
Yeah.
You
Both
came?
at the same time?
Same.
All of them new arrivals from Nigeria, but none is willing to say anything against their madam. After that discovery, we returned to our informant to confirm if the woman we found is the trafficker and the madam who exploited her for years.
Yes!
Is it the one?
Yes!
Really? So why were the girls so afraid? Because she even let us talk to the girls and they said everything's okay. Why would the girls be so afraid to talk to us?
Yes, because they are afraid because they swear that if they will never tell anybody over there, and they will never tell the police, tell anybody who is a madam, who is anybody. They will never tell them. If they ask, if you just say that they come, they rent the ass. That's it.
Che vuol dire? PM dottor Forse questa vuol dire ignoti.
We then took our findings to a prosecutor in Florence to know why the courts have failed to condemn anyone over the years, even though she can see from our office the illegal business going on in the streets. Angela Pietroiusti lists the challenges agencies have encountered.
Suo connazionale, anche spesso le vittime
It's a problem that the victims are scared to go to the police. In addition, there's always this massive communication problem, and it's difficult for us to get good translators.
After seeing the results of our investigations, she appears impressed and promises to consider the possibility of initiating an investigation into the matter and possibly bring the alleged trafficker to justice.
Ormarou ya so one ya koliwe okay na amana call you.